it already on? Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Boris Deunert, and I'm the hearing officer for San Francisco Public Works. The clerk for today is Clinton Odwell. I would like to have a request if you could please silence your cell phones. Last time I was here, we had a few of them go off, and it kind of disturbs everyone. So if you could do that, put it on vibrate. If you want to take a call, there's no problem. We're all busy. Please go outside and take the call outside. The hearing today is recorded. So that means you will be recorded, whatever you're saying. What I'm saying will be recorded, and it's publicly accessible. Also, if we need to contact you, it's always advisable that you sign in. I already saw that a lot of people started signing in. If you haven't signed in yet, please do so, because that's our means of knowing that you were here, and if we need to mail you something regarding the case so that we have your information. So please do sign in if you haven't done so. Today we have actually 5 different orders. They are all considering a request for mobile food permits. May I ask, just by a show of hands, who is here, who is a vendor? Could you just raise your... So we have 3 vendors. So that's me. I assume you're probably for the creamery, right?
Yes.
And you're for El Alhambra? Yes. So do we have the person here for Golden Gate Halal Foods yet? No, okay. And then if you could, a show of hands, members of the public. Okay, thank you so much. Just to a little bit of ground rules, how this is going to work. I'm the hearing officer today, and I will gather the facts. I will actually not make a decision on your case today. My job is to gather facts, give you ample time to present your case. If there is someone who would like to oppose the permit, they can speak today. I will gather the information, and I will make recommendations to our Public Works Director, who is, under his sole discretion, will make a decision based on my recommendations. When the Director's determination has been made, the department will notify you. Again, please do sign in. If you're not signed in, then you will not be notified. The hearing will proceed as follows. At first, I will have a representative of Public Works present the permit case. Then I will allow the mobile food vendor to speak. Then I will allow any member of the public to speak for or against that permit. Then I will allow the department again to address the comments if the department so wishes. And then I will allow the vendor again to address possible issues that came up through the public. Each person has about 3 minutes to speak. There is a bell that will announce you that your time is up. So far we have only seen that, 3? Didn't I say 3 minutes? Yeah, okay. So after 3 minutes, so if you hear that bell, then please come to a closure. So if all comments are heard, the public had the ability to speak, I will close that particular item and we will move on to the next item. In this case, we actually have 3 times the same vendor for 3 different order numbers. And I don't know, Clinton, how we wanted to handle this, or the Public Works representative. Do we want to handle each one separately, or should we present them together? Because it's 3 times the same vendor.
I have comments for each of the 3 individual orders.
So we'll do it individually.
Yeah,
okay.
That'd be great. Thanks.
So what I would say then, we will move to the first order number, which is order 201367, is San Francisco Hometown Creamery, wanting to sell ice cream and waffle cones. And I believe this is the location for 340 Post Street and West, I can't read the handwriting here, 80 and Ellis. Is that correct? Is that 2 locations for the first permit? So if I could ask the Public Works representative to speak to that permit application.
Hi, good morning. My name is Nicholas Persky, representing Public Works, Bureau of Street Use and Mapping. I'd like to give a quick overview of permit 18 MFF-0099 applied for by San Francisco's Hometown Creamery. If approved, the permit would allow the applicant to occupy a portion of the parking lane in front of 340 Post Street with a food truck on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. The applicant first submitted this application to Public Works on August 14th, 2018 for the 2 locations of 340 Post Street and 80 Ellis Street. After communicating with the applicant and SFMTA, who had concerns about conflicts with ongoing construction in the area, the applicant withdrew the 80 Ellis Street location on March 26, 2019. Public Works subsequently accepted the site plan for 340 Post Street on that same day, March 26, 2019. Following approval of the 340 Post Street site plan, Public Works sent out a notification, as is required by Section 184.88 of the Public Works Code, on April 12, 2019. The applicant also posted a physical notification at the location on April 16, 2019, for which a picture was sent to Public Works. In response to the public notification, Public Works received 12 letters in support and 2 letters of objection before the deadline of May 12, 2019 of the notice. Public Works did receive 1 additional objection postmarked after May 12th in opposition to the proposed mobile food facility. Just to respond to one of the objections that was received, one of the objections made a note about a white zone being occupied. I just did want to clarify that the approved site plan is for occupancy of a yellow zone, not a white zone, and it's the area that fronts I believe it's Tiffany's and Williams-Sonoma. It's that first yellow zone there that's right next to the white zone. So that concludes my remarks on this permit, and I'm available if you have any questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, I ask now the representative of Hometown Creamery to speak. And again, we're just speaking about this one location right now. I guess we do it separately.
Yes, this is more of a general thing, if that's all right.
Yes.
All right. Good morning. Our goal is straightforward and very simple. We want to build a contemporary, iconic business. My brother and I want to create as many jobs as possible in San Francisco, manufacture as much ice cream product as possible in the city, and engage with and contribute to the communities of San Francisco as much as possible. It's imperative that we grow our business in order to survive. We've been open for 4 years now. And with continued increases in operating costs and trying to keep our team members paid above minimum wage, we're struggling. We're struggling to continue to manufacture our product with the highest standards while simultaneously keeping our pricing accessible to all demographics. And this is something that's critically important to my brother and I. Because we have limited resources, we have to be creative. We're a small, independent family business with no outside investors. My brother Adar and I are the sole owners of San Francisco's Hometown Creamery, and we're doing everything we can to keep it that way. Now, through the VW bus, I have the picture up. I can show that. This is the current site in Union Square on Geary and Powell. We found a unique and creative way to utilize the very limited resources that we have and put it toward expanding our business in a legal way that benefits the local community and adds value not only to the surrounding areas, but to the tourists and cultural experience in San Francisco. Creating a contemporary San Francisco institution is not easy. Therefore, we humbly request that the city approve our permits to enable us to achieve our goals and vision and move forward with our pursuits. Thank you. Of course, I'm free if you have any questions.
And you will have the ability to speak again. May I ask members of the public to speak either in favor or against that vending location?
Good morning. My name is Brianna Casperson, and I am here on behalf of the Union Square Business Improvement District. DPW's Code Article 5.8 states that mobile food facility permits are to provide and expand food options in underserved and less congested areas of the city. This proposed location of 340 Post Street on Union Square is already highly served by a large variety of food and treat options in brick-and-mortar retail locations. Moreover, Union Square is one of the most congested areas for pedestrian and vehicular traffic in the city. This mobile food facility harmfully contributes to this overcongestion and presents issues of public safety. It moreover serves to detract from the businesses already in existence in the Union Square area, rather than providing food access to another underserved area that needs it. The Union Square bid is a strong proponent of some mobile food facilities for the activation and vibrancy of the public realm. The Union Square Business Permit District operates mobile food facility programming in other areas of the district. However, this mobile food facility operates outside of this programming in a location that negatively impacts the public realm of Union Square. Mobile food facilities have the opportunity to operate in specified areas of Union Square through our summer programming of Lunch on the Lane on Maiden Lane, our 5-week-long holiday event, Winter Walk, and our activations coming soon, including on Campton Place. Union Square is full of food options and already attracts thousands of pedestrian visitors every day because of the destination that it is and the successful retail and food landscape of the area. The Hometown Creamery mobile food facility is an unnecessary addition to the fabric of the Union Square at 340 Post Street. On behalf of the property owners of the Union Square Business Improvement District, I respectfully request that Department of Public Works does not approve the mobile food facility permit for Hometown Creamery at 340 Post Street. Thank you so much.
Is there another member of the public that would like to speak to this location?
Hi, good morning. My name is Carrie Yox, and I'm the property manager of 360 Post Street, where the Tiffany store is located. I have nothing against ice cream. In fact, I make my own at home. However, the proposal of serving ice cream after hours in front of 360 Post Street is a very bad idea. Here are three reasons why. Vandalism. In the evening hours over the last 6 months, the Tiffany storefront has been vandalized with spray paint. Removal of the paint from the glass and stone facade took a full week of restoration, and we were very lucky to be able to remove it. Security issues and property damage. In the evening hours over the last 6 months, the Tiffany storefront glass was smashed twice in an attempted burglary. Mess. Customer melted ice cream will result in a sticky sidewalk mess. Waffle cone oil will stain the sidewalk. Customer cups, wrappers, and napkins will be strewn throughout the local neighborhood. In closing, the owners of 360 Post are opposed to issuing this permit, as increased after-hours groups of people loitering will result in unnecessary property damage, security, and potential storefront theft and neighborhood cleanup. Thank you.
We have another member of the public that would like to speak to this particular location. Do we have a member of Public Works who would like to say anything to this, or you have nothing to add?
No further comments, but available for any questions if you have any.
Now I would allow the vendor to, one more time, to speak to the public concerns, if they so wish.
Yes, I'd like to, Sadi Halil, again, owner of Hometown Creamery, like to go point by some of the issues that were brought up. In regards to bid, saying that the Union Square area is an area well served by food, violating the spirit of the MFF legislation, we want to say that that is very vague, and that the ice cream in the first place, as well as small local minority-owned businesses, are woefully underserved in Union Square. The objection is also somewhat hypocritical, considering BID's sponsorship of Maiden Lane and Winter Walk in Union Square with mobile food trucks. Additionally, the comment that Union Square is a highly congested area and that MFS should not be located in such area where there's high pedestrian traffic. We've been through this before, and there is zero objective evidence that our presence poses a public safety issue. In fact, our successful operation at Geary and Powell, on the other side of Union Square, on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, at the exact same times, has led to zero negative feedback and only public praise. It serves as actual evidence that the above objection is invalid. And there are specific areas and streets listed in the legislation that do prohibit MFFs, and our proposed location is not one of them. We constantly get praise from both locals that are happy to see the success and flourishing of local businesses, and excitement from tourists that see something that validates their romanticized vision of San Francisco, which they don't really get with a Cheesecake Factory or Macy's or something they can find anywhere. In regards to Saks Fifth complaints, that their sidewalks are already congested during business hours. Again, I spend all of my Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings in Union Square at that spot, and I can say firsthand that there's been a drastic decline in the amount of pedestrian ship. In that last picture, that's just one example. It is not like Times Square in New York City. You know, most people are actually going up the perpendicular corridor to where we are. In regards to their daily problems with trash, graffiti, and damage, I would think that it's rather intuitive that our presence there would actually work as something of a protective measure against people doing graffiti because we have vigilant eyes. We are in contact with BID. We have the contact numbers of the people who contain that area, and we have cell phones that we can take camera photos and videos of anybody doing any damage to that area, and we'll actually be there preventing, a time being where it's completely empty, making it a lot easier for someone to vandalize that area. In addition to trash, we noticed that there is plenty of trash in the Union Square area, and we do our best after we're there and even before we're there with a purple glove going out and picking up trash because it is in everybody's best interest to make sure that we have a clean, safe environment. As a witness, that someone can be contacted later at Dyson, who originally opposed us our first time. All of their negative issues that they had have all been quelled, and they've only had positive experiences with our presence there and can also speak to the cleanliness that we leave in the area. And we also believe that an ice cream truck will rather enhance business and serve customers by bringing people to the area to a certain extent and having them continue to shop in the areas instead of online. That is all. Thank you.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Yes, of course.
So, as to the trash, I too presume that you have a trash receptacle?
We do.
Next to your truck?
Yes, we have a
So
trash
that's-
right next to our truck.
And that's regularly emptied, and
Absolutely, yes.
so I don't know that much about your business, but so you're selling ice cream in cones?
Correct. For the most part, we have homemade waffle cones. Most people get cones, so they eat. If we don't have, there's not plates, they eat everything, the cone, the ice cream. We do have compostable cups. Everything that we have at our shop is compostable, and we have a receptacle right next to our bin, right next to our.
And your operating hours are, and I know the Public Works representative said it already, what are they?
6 p.m. to 11 p.m.
To 11 p.m., because there was the concern about at certain times when you're serving that there would be clientele at that place that would enhance vandalism. I think that was one of the concerns. So you're
Right.
saying that the hours, the evening hours, you still have enough foot traffic that your business is viable.
We
and
do.
It's the regular clients
Yes.
that are there. You're not attracting other people to this business or to this area.
What was that last thing? We're not.
So you're not attracting people.
We're
other than
generally not
people that-
attracting vandals to get ice cream.
That's not what I'm saying. I didn't want to imply this. But I mean, you're not attracting more people to this area during this time than they're already in this area.
Oh, gotcha. We're working with the community that's kind of already there and in that area. And so far, seems successful. It hasn't been madness or mayhem. We get good enough business at that time because there still is activity and there are people looking for things that are open. Particularly people in the neighboring hotels who go out. A lot of things do close down earlier. So you said before, we're still serving a product at that time that people have access to, a lot of tourists, for example. But also, we work as being more hyper-vigilant and, again, part of the BID community, hopefully, in doing our part to make sure that we keep the area clean and safe.
You said you clean up before and after, which is great.
Yes.
And then you were mentioning you don't have a security camera on your van, or you just
I was
having
saying
cell phones?
there have been a couple issues that had to have nothing to do with the ice cream truck, just things that go on in Union Square. And we have been the ones to call BID
Okay.
or the local non-emergency police to notify them of what's going on.
So it's more a cell phone that you would
Yeah.
have. Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
So we could move on to the next order then, if I may ask the Public Works representative to speak to that order.
Good morning again. Nicholas Persky, representing Public Works, Bureau of Street Use and Mapping. I'd like to give a quick overview of permit 18 MFF-0113 applied for by San Francisco's Hometown Creamery. If approved, this permit would allow the applicant to occupy a portion of the parking lane in front of 301 Pine Street with a food truck on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The applicant submitted this application to Public Works on December 28, 2018 for the two locations of 301 Pine Street as well as 2298 Post Street. After review of the application, it was found that the Post Street location was not in compliance with Section 184.85 of the Public Works Code, as it was within 1,000 feet of the property line of a public high school. Accordingly, the applicant withdrew the 2298 Post Street location on March 20th, 2019. Public Works accepted the site plan for the other location, 301 Pine Street, on March 22nd, 2019. Following approval of the 301 Pine Street site plan, Public Works sent out a notification, as is required by Section 184.88 of the Public Works Code, on April 10th, 2019. The applicant also posted a physical notification at the location on April 16th, 2019, for which a picture was sent to Public Works. In response to the public notification, Public Works received 10 letters in support and 2 letters of objection before the deadline of May 10th, 2019. The objections have subsequently led to today's hearing. That concludes my remarks on this permit. Available again if you have any questions.
Thank you. May I ask the representative of Hometown Creamery to speak to that particular location if you so want to, or we consider your comments that you had before?
Our opening statement would be somewhat similar. We can address the specific.
So that's fine. You will have an opportunity to speak again. I was just wondering if you want to speak
Yeah,
up front.
that's fine. Thank you.
May I invite members of the public to speak to this particular location, if they so wish? Okay. Well, then, since there are no members of the public that want to speak to this particular location, I can invite the member of Public Works, if they want to know. Hometown Creamery, would you like to say anything to this particular location? This is for Pine and Post, I guess.
What we received, I'll just say our rebuttal. We heard that this creates unfair competition for the rent-paying retail tenants in the area. It was an anonymous objection. And we said that prior to submitting our permit application, we surveyed the area to determine whether our presence would have a negative impact on any of the small local businesses in close proximity. After not finding any small local independent ice cream shops, we felt comfortable moving forward with this permit. Our creamery, where we manufacture all our ice cream, is located 1 block away from Golden Gate Park, where we manufacture all the ice cream, and have a storefront where we too sell retail. And we also pay San Francisco commercial rents, operating expenses, and San Francisco operating fees. So we do contribute. Furthermore, there happens to be an ice cream truck within Golden Gate Park, a short walking distance from our brick and mortar storefront. However, it doesn't seem to hurt our business or create unfair competition. Likewise, there are about 3 or 4 other frozen dessert shops within the 2-block radius of our creamery. So we have thoroughly and thoughtfully orchestrated our proposal with regards to the location, business brand, vehicle, and particular product and service offered to have a positive impact on Pine Street. That is all.
I'm going to close this order too, and I'm going to move to the next order. Could I again ask the Public Works representative to speak?
Great. Good morning again. My name is Nicholas Persky, representing Public Works, Bureau of Street Use and Mapping. I'd like to give a quick overview of permit 19 MFF-00008, applied for by San Francisco's Hometown Creamery. If approved, this permit would allow the applicant to occupy a portion of the parking lane in front of 1 Montgomery Street with a food truck on Sundays, Mondays, and Fridays from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., as well as 425 California Street on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The applicant submitted this application to Public Works on March 5th, 2019 for the 2 locations of 1 Montgomery Street and 425 California Street. After making some minor revisions to the site plan at the request of Public Works accepted the site plan for both locations on March 22nd, 2019. Following approval of the site plans, Public Works sent out a notification, as is required by Section 184.88 of the Public Works Code, on April 11, 2019. The applicant also posted a physical notification at the location on April 16, 2019, for which a picture was sent to Public Works. In response to the public notification, Public Works received 13 letters of support of the permit and 1 letter of objection specific to the 1 Montgomery Street location before the deadline of May 11th, 2019. There were no objections in response to the 425 California Street location. The 1 objection for the 1 Montgomery Street location has subsequently led to today's hearing. That concludes my remarks on this permit, and available if you have any questions. Thanks.
Very much. May I ask the representative of Hometown Creamery to speak if they want to? Or you want to, at the end, maybe for the 1 objection you want to speak to? May I invite members of the public that would like to speak to these 2 locations, California and Montgomery? If there are no comments from the public, I invite the member of Public Works if he wishes to speak. So no. Then I invite the member of the Hometown Creamery to speak, I presume, to the 1 objection on Montgomery Street.
So there was 1 objection. They brought up 2 different points. The first one, it said on 1 Montgomery Tower, quote, "There are air intakes located on the 3rd level running parallel to Post Street that feed the lower half of the building with outside air. A food truck located in the proximity will expose half of our tenant base to unnecessary exhaust from the generators utilized by the mobile food truck. In addition, food smells created by the food truck will be spread throughout tenant floors, and any grease generated from the kitchen exhaust could create additional maintenance need on our air intake grills and mechanical fan. In rebuttal, our operation does not include any grease, exhaust, grills, or odors. We will only be selling homemade ice cream that is made at our creamery here in San Francisco. The 2 products offered are pre-made. Nothing will be made on site in the VW. The product is in a cold plate freezer that is charged overnight. Therefore, we have a backup generator, which is required by the Department of Public Health, which we're able to keep in eco mode, which produces minimal noise and less exhaust than a car. Thus, our presence should not have any negative impact on the tenants within Montgomery Tower. The second point from Crocker Galleria is that a food truck located in close proximity establishes unfair competition to the family-owned businesses who pay rent, operating expenses, other San Francisco operating fees. Similar to what we had said before, that prior to submitting the application, we checked in to see what was inside Crocker Galleria. There was nothing of a competitive nature, that we also pay the fees and expenses and operating costs of San Francisco, as we do have a brick and mortar as well as the van. Actually, I'm sorry, they have 1 more point, and that food trucks in general do not provide areas for patrons to sit and enjoy their meals. As a result, patrons of the mobile food truck will likely use seating within our complex intended for retail tenant clientele. Ice cream in a cone is not really a meal. We don't really have plates and utensils and things where people need to sit down. It's a grab-and-go item. So this kind of makes that objection null and void. And that is all, unless you have
Can
any
I
further.
ask 1 clarifying question? We have never
For sure,
heard
of
this.
course.
You were talking about a certain freezer that's only needs a backup generator. Could you explain this a little bit?
A cold plate, yeah. So we have inside the van, we have a cold plate freezer, which we charge overnight. And once it's charged overnight, it can stay cold and keep the temperature that we need, which is about 4 degrees, for 12 hours, even in 90-degree heat. So as required by the Department of Public Health, you have to have a backup generator. So we do have that, and we do use that for hot running water. But again, it does have an eco mode, and we have a new, very small, compact generator because we don't, require a full kitchen or grills or anything like that. So it is very quiet, and as we said before, there's a lot less exhaust than even 1 car.
The generator would only be used for your hot water
Hot
need,
water.
and sometimes, if you operate more than 12 hours, it would be.
Right, which is we're not doing because the permit only allows us
Right.
that window
Okay.
of time. Yes,
Thank you so much.
of course. Thank you.
And I will be closing this order too, and we're moving on to the next order, which is Golden Gate Halal Foods. I don't think is a representative of Halal Foods here. It's not arrived yet. Okay.
Hi, Nicholas Persky representing Public Works, Bureau of Street Use and Mapping. I would like to give a quick overview of permit 19 MFF-00010, applied for by Golden Gate Halal Food. If approved, this permit would allow the applicant to occupy a portion of the sidewalk in front of 856 Market Street with a push cart on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. The applicant submitted this application to Public Works on March 11th, 2019 for the location of 856 Market Street. After review of the application and after some minor revisions to clarify the cart location, Public Works accepted the site plan for 856 Market Street on March 29th, 2019. Following approval of the 856 Market Street site plan, Public Works sent out a notification, as is required by Section 184.88 of the Public Works Code, on April 19, 2019. The applicant also posted a physical notification at the location on April 23, 2019, for which a picture was sent to Public Works. In response to the public notification, Public Works received 1 letter in support and 3 letters of objection before the May 19, 2019 deadline. The objections have subsequently led to today's hearing. I did want to clarify, one of the objections had a question in it about the size of the cart. The site plan for the cart has dimensions of 11 feet by 5 feet, which the applicant would have to stay within under this permit if it were approved. So that concludes my remarks on this permit, and I'm available if you have any questions. Thanks.
So since we don't, or is there any representative of Halal Foods here today? No. Then I would invite members of the public to speak for or against that proposal.
Good morning again. My name is Brianna Casperson, and I'm here on behalf of the Union Square Business Improvement District. On behalf of the property owners and brick and mortar businesses in the Union Square Business Improvement District, I request that the Department of Public Works not approve the mobile food facility permit for Golden Gate Halal Foods to operate at 856 Market Street. Permitting this vendor is an issue of public safety and a detraction from the character of Market Street. Pedestrians on Market already face a barrage of permitted and unpermitted activities as they navigate around the multitude of sidewalk obstacles, including fixed street furniture and some of the highest pedestrian traffic in the city. Adding another vendor at this location on Market is a detriment to the quality of the public realm and the retail businesses around the proposed site location. On behalf of the property owner of 856 Market, who cannot be here today, this proposed mobile food facility threatens success of the retail store, New Balance, at 856 Market. Because of the location of the vendors in front of the store's entrance, the vendor's line may block access to the store and will not draw the target clientele to their property. We are concerned that patrons of the mobile food facility will bring food into the store, and the mobile food facility may draw attention away from the store, bringing down potential foot traffic. Westfield Mall at 865 Market, across the street from this proposed site, the Flood Building at 870 Market Street, next door to the proposed site, the building owner of 856 Market, the proposed site, and the building owner of 800 to 830 Market, next to the proposed site, are all opposed to this mobile food facility. That means the immediate community around the proposed site does not want this mobile food facility to operate on Market Street. For all of those reasons, on behalf of the Union Square and Business Improvement District, I respectfully request that the Department of Public Works deny the mobile food facility permit for Golden Gate Halal Foods at 856 Market Street. Thank you.
Actually, I do have a question for a Public Works representative, because there was one point raised, which I think we need to, I presume when you looked at the plan that was ruled out, but Ms. Casperson just said that the vendor would block the access to the store. Was that looked at? Is that a true statement in this case?
Yes, so at that location of Market Street, there is like a small bulb out. And I'm just going to check the plan briefly, one moment. So under the plan, they propose a 22-foot path of travel between the push cart and the stores there. So there would still be 22 feet for people to be able to walk by on Market Street.
Which is the required?
Yeah, the minimum required is 6 feet. Okay. Per the ADA regulations.
But this is a high traffic area, so we have a wider, but we have 22 feet.
Yeah,
so it's
and
not directly blocking.
Yeah, it does get expanded to 9 feet for Market Street, like for tables and chairs, the ADA requirements, but the proposed mobile food would still be well within that path of travel requirement.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Since we don't have a representative of Halal Foods here at all, I'm going to also close this order. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Hi, good morning. My name is Michelle McKinney. I'm with San Francisco Center that is across the street from the proposed site. And just a point of clarification on obstruction of the business that's in front of, it's about the line, not the physical location of the truck that is of concern. Why I'm speaking on behalf of the center, even though it's across the street from this proposed location, is really echoing the consistent concerns of congestion in the area, which we would rather have very beautifully refined common areas for our guests to be entering and exiting the businesses, not only in Union Square, but along Market Street and throughout the surrounding blocks. As a property manager of San Francisco Center, we work very hard to curate businesses that are of an elevated standard to attract the tourists and business community in our area, and really help our businesses thrive and feel that this would be counteractive to those efforts. Additionally, again, even though we're across the street, the amount of cleanup that is required just on every day where there's no obstructions is extensive to create a safe, clean environment for our guests, and adding additional businesses that are only required to clean up in their immediate area, but not whatever offspring might occur from their business would fall upon the businesses around or the business improvement district or the city to clean up. Thank you.
Could I ask a few questions? There's
Sure.
really no representative of Halal Foods who could present to this, but could you please elaborate what elevated standards for businesses are? Because you said we want to attract or we want to keep business of elevated standards, and doesn't really mean
Sure.
that.
Thank you for asking that. So, we respond, we as in Westfield respond to the requests of our guests through several avenues of feedback about the sort of businesses they want to see in the area and the sort of business and brands that they want to see in their neighborhood, as well as, again, from the high tourist population. And food trucks is not mentioned on those lists. So an elevated experience is, more permanent residency with a higher quality and standard of product, whether it be retail or food tenants or office spaces. So from a measurement of giving back to our guests and what they want to see, we feel like we are striving to meet those goals and bring in those tenants. And part of selling our property, that would detract from that when those potential current or future tenants come to look at Westfield or surrounding areas as a potential place to run their business.
Thank you so much. Could I ask?
Thank you.
so much. Public Works, one more question, which I need to understand, because we don't have a representative of Halal Foods here. But we heard from Hometown Creamery that they're actually cleaning up before and afterwards, and not just right next to their Volkswagen. They clean out even a larger area because it's good for their business too. Is there a requirement for Public Works? What's the cleaning radius that is required for a business that would be located there?
There is so section 184.94 of the Public Works Code sets forth a good neighbor policy for mobile food facility permit holders. It does note that proper and adequate storage and disposal of debris and garbage shall be provided. There's no specific radius to that. The one thing that does note as far as a radius is employees of the mobile food facility shall walk a 100-foot radius from the location sometime within the 30 minutes after the closing, and shall pick up and dispose of any discarded beverage containers and other trash left by patrons. So if a mobile food applicant were to be approved for a permit, they would have to abide by that good neighbor policy.
It's a 100-foot radius. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We'll be closing this order too, and we are moving to the final order. If I may ask the Public Works representatives to speak again.
Right. Hi again. Nicholas Persky, representing Public Works, Bureau of Street Use and Mapping. I would like to give a quick overview of permit 19 MFF-00012 applied for by El Alambre. If approved, this permit would allow the applicant to occupy a portion of the parking lane in front of 1188 Franklin Street with a food truck on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., as well as 1100 Franklin Street on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The applicant submitted this application to Public Works on April 4th, 2019 for the two locations of 1188 Franklin Street and 1100 Franklin Street. After making some minor revisions to the site plans at the request of Public Works accepted the site plan for both locations on April 18th, 2019. Following approval of the site plans, Public Works sent out a notification, as is required by Section 184.88 of the Public Works Code, on April 18th, 2019. The applicant also posted a physical notification at the two locations on May 8th, 2019, for which a picture was sent to Public Works. In response to the public notification, Public Works received one letter of objection specific to the 1100 Franklin Street location before the deadline of May 18th, 2019. The objection has subsequently led to today's hearing. I will note that on Friday, this past Friday, June 28th, Public Works received two additional protests via email, which have been forwarded to the hearing officer for consideration. So that concludes my remarks on this permit, and again, available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Very much. May I now invite the representative of El Alambre Food Facility to speak?
Hello, good morning. This is Miguel Blanco. I'm the owner of El Alambre. So we're a small business. We started like a month and a half ago. So the reason why I want to put my truck over there is because I grew up in that area. I know like I want to give something to my community. Also, I'm doing it because it's how I'm surviving right now. It's something that I dreamed when I was 20. Now I'm 23. So, and I've been working hard for that, you know. And also, I start everything because the new hospital that they put over there, and we want to provide food to them too, because we don't have a lot of restaurants on that area. Most of the restaurants are located on Polk, which are like 2 blocks away from there. And that's why we want to be there. We want to provide good food, you know. And yeah, that's all. Yeah. And about the parking, since I have memory, parking has been bad in San Francisco everywhere. So if I don't park my truck over there, maybe somebody else is gonna park their car, you know? And it's gonna be the same. It's not gonna change anything because like it's San Francisco. You know, it's a small city, 7 by 7, so, and we're a lot of people from the Bay, a lot of people, you know, like from everywhere come to work in the city. And it's not gonna change, you know? It's not gonna change just because I'm gonna put my truck over there. It's gonna stay like that, you know? Yeah, that's pretty much all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there members of the public that would like to speak to this permit?
Hello, my name is Jim Anderson, and I'm with the Cathedral Hill Neighborhood Association. When I'm finished my remarks, if I could make a second set of remarks for someone in the neighborhood who had to attend a funeral, but we'll see how time goes. The location on Franklin Street is probably the worst choice you could make for a mobile food operation, other than the shoulder of Highway 101. This is an extremely busy and congested street, very poor for a food outlet. People are ripping along that street at 40 to 50 miles an hour. It's effectively our north-south freeway, right, between that and Gough Street. Sidewalk is narrow and further narrowed by trees. Nicholas mentioned something about an ADA requirement of 6 feet. You're not going to have that when people are standing in front of that truck. And more importantly, we've got a lot of senior homes in the area. Seniors are coming by with walkers and wheelchairs and so on. that kind of congestion on that section of Franklin is not going to be good. In our neighborhood, I've been working for years, 3 to 4 hours every day picking up garbage. Food trucks will have a trash can, and the food will be taken away from the trash can. Someone will walk a half a block away and they'll be discarding their litter, which I will be picking up in the afternoon. It doesn't help the neighborhood. Additionally, as I said, the seniors in this area, they need to be clear. They're walking along that street either towards the hospital or away from the hospital, down towards Walgreens and so on. They don't need to be trying to make their way around the food truck. We've got eateries closer than Polk Street. Tommy's Joint is 1 block down the hill. Limoncello is 2 blocks away. Mel's Kitchen is a block away on Van Ness, and all of these areas have been suffering because of the construction work on Van Ness already. They don't really need the competition. In concluding my remarks, I'd say it's the wrong time and very much the wrong place for a food truck, not in that neighborhood. I want to have Nicholas comment on something that he mentioned earlier too, which is around 1,000 feet from a high school. Okay, Sacred Heart Cathedral Prep is a high school. It is 1 block away. Are you aware of that? Okay, and across the street from where the food truck will be parked is the eastern entrance to a preschool. Okay. Now, if I could have a second time slot just to talk about represent Martin Luther Tower, an individual there, and I'll pass the note on to Nicholas as well. So this is from Ian O'Leary, who's the property manager at Martin Luther Tower, a senior facility that's about a half a block away from where the food truck will be located. Ian states that Franklin Street is a walking corridor for elderly during the day and business persons walking to and from work in the morning and evening. It's not a hangout zone for anyone looking for
May I just
food.
ask, is that a written comment what you had already received from Ian O'Leary?
He didn't submit written comments, but
Then I'm fine with you presenting it right now. But if we already had it as a written comment, I don't want it to be read again. So it's a new one?
you didn't get Ian's. Okay, so I can continue?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Inform the city that persons loitering around the food truck at 1100 Franklin will make egress far more difficult for the elderly in our neighborhood, especially considering our already cramped sidewalks with parking meters, trees, foot scooters, walkers, strollers, wheelchairs. What should seniors do? Cross the high-traffic street or wait for someone to move? Cleaning a food truck is an unnecessary public hazard where pedestrians will be in danger of vehicular assault by attempting to circumvent any loitering crowd. Perhaps the food truck would be better served on Sutter, near the businesses on Polk with the bars. Ian additionally states that the city will be financially liable for injuries resulting from a car hitting a pedestrian while the food truck conducts its business, because it is knowingly issuing a permit putting pedestrians dangerously close to the high quantity and high velocity traffic on Franklin Street. One additional point, this location is actually in front of someone's home, and that individual will be speaking shortly. It's in front of a home for, I believe, more than a half a dozen people, probably 7. Thank you.
Much.
Good morning. My name is Nicholas Reyna, and I'm speaking on behalf of the 7 people who live on 1100 Franklin Street. The difficulty, as Jim already expressed, I won't elaborate on his points. However, for us there, it's also a place of business, and there are deliveries and different UPS, FedEx, and things like that, because it is a central headquarters for this Legion Society there for San Francisco. Also, at the same time, the access. There'll be a construction project going on right next to us, a 15-story high-rise on Van Ness, 1000 Van Ness. And the only access or egress that we have is on Myrtle, but we won't be able to go down to Van Ness. We'll have to go up to Franklin. And with the food truck there on Franklin, it makes looking at the traffic coming down very perilous, because as Jim mentioned, there is a high velocity of traffic that goes through that area. And even now, as we turn from Myrtle onto making a right on Franklin, you have to be careful because people are speeding down Franklin. And at the same time, if there's a car parked even at the corner, it's difficult to see the oncoming traffic. If you have a food truck there, it'll make it doubly difficult to see the oncoming traffic. So that's why, in a way, we don't have anything against El Alambre. We hope that he'll be able to find another locale, but that place on Franklin, because of the nature of the volume of the traffic, makes it very difficult to have a food truck there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I invite the Public Works representative again, and I also have a few questions, but you can speak first.
Nicholas Persky from Public Works. I just want to address two of the points from the public speakers. So the first is about the 1,000-foot radius from public school requirement. It is specific to public schools only per section 18485 of the Public Works Code. It is only public schools, so saying Sacred Heart would not fall under that. As far as the 6-foot path of travel requirement, so the sidewalk width on Franklin Street there is 10 feet. The section 18485 of the Public Works Code requires that the applicant leave an unobstructed path for pedestrian passage on any sidewalk, a space not less than 6 feet wide. So because the sidewalk was 10 feet, they did meet that requirement.
So you actually already addressed two of the things that I wanted to ask you about. There's one more. One of the people that spoke, I think it was Mr. Anderson, mentioned that it's a high-speed area. People are speeding down this street. So what's the posted speed limit, and do you foresee, there was also a mention about line of sight with the truck that you couldn't see it, people, because of the construction, that would have to actually cross the road and they would be put in danger. There apparently there are a lot of senior people with probably walkers and other things that they need in order to get around. Is that really an area of concern? Has that been considered when you were approving the plan?
Yeah, so I don't know the speed limit off the top of my head. There aren't any provisions in the Public Works Code specifically that relate to the speed of the block or how busy of a corridor is, as long as it's a street that's on Public Works jurisdiction, which Franklin Street is, it's something that we could consider. Beyond that, I think it's something that, could be considered through the course of this hearing,
Right.
You as the hearing officer, but it's not something that is codified in the Public Works Code or within the Public Works order on this topic. So it's not something that we would review before we'd send it out to public
But
notification.
you would be reviewing line of sight, for example, if you have a food truck that is blocking line of sight?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
May I invite the representative of El Hambre, if you want to speak to some of the concerns that were voiced?
I just want to touch 2 points. One of the points is the parking. So he talks about delivery. They have a big parking lot over there. So, I know there's going to be construction on Banez, but Banez is being bad for almost 2 years, and it's going to be bad and it's going to stay like that for 2 or 3 more because they have a delay, right? So it's not going to change. It's going to still the same. Second, about speeding, it's not something about, I cannot fix that problem, It's something that, the city's got to work on it, put something, signals, or I don't know, something to stop that speeding. About food, he says Tommy's Joint is there, Mel's is there. That's true. Those 2 restaurants are there. And we're not competing with them because they've been there for a long time. We're trying to bring cheap food on that area and good food. Second of all, Mel's is too expensive. If you go on Mel's, you're gonna get a not good plate for at least $22. And we bring him food, under $10. people can buy it, not just people who work in the hospital, because other, like patients or something like that, more people work in that area. For example, on the Union Building, they are agree with us to put the food truck. We have like, we require a restroom, and we have the restaurant with them. And they are agreeing, more than 100 people work on that building, and they're like, okay, we want El Alambre to be here because we don't have food. They don't have any food around there. And the only cafe that they got, it's like 2 or 3 blocks away from there, and the Walgreens, but you're not gonna be eating sandwiches from the Walgreens all the time, you need something else. Yeah, that's pretty much all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sure.
Just to expand one brief thing about the blocking the line of sight. So the Public Works Code does require that vehicles comply with all other color curb controls of the SFMTA. So essentially, they would only be allowed to park in those locations if SFMTA otherwise allowed a vehicle to park there. Though Section 18488 of the Public Works Code does say that at the Public Works hearing, which we're at now, the hearing officer can consider information deemed relevant to the determination of whether the proposed location would generate a public safety concern. So it's definitely something worth consideration, but the way we look at it is if MTA allows a truck to legally park in that spot, for the purposes of parking, we would allow the same for purposes of vending as well.
Yeah, that's why I asked the question, because I need to consider it, but it was clear to me that there are MTA requirements, and I'm pretty sure that they were met.
Mm-hmm.
But I still hear the complaint loud and clear, and I will personally check on this location a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That was the last order for today. If there are no further comments from the public at all. No, that order is now closed, I'm sorry. I'm going to close the hearing for today. Thank you very much.